Hello, you lovely, lovely people. Just in a live, and my son wanted to go out, but the place where we were going, the people weren't in, so we didn't go. So I'm sat here after watching Filipina Pea's video about is it the right time to come here because of the soaring costs. Now, except for the obvious, the price at the pumps, I haven't really, and I mean this, people. I haven't seen a price increase or that much of a price increase in food as yet. Not saying that's not going to happen, because it probably will, because of the logistics of getting it here. Now, Filipina P she's seen a big increase. Now, what I can see, what's happening is the people who are suffering is, the poor people are suffering more than anything. It's always the little people, like Filipina P said, it's always the little people that suffers, and it's mainly, and I said this before, it's the habal riders. People who are riding their jeepneys are definitely suffering, because there's a guy here in Pinion, and he's cut his routes down by half. The backwards and forwards to Dipolog to Mutia, he's cut that down by half, because he said that he can't put that much of an increase on the passengers, because obviously they can't afford it either. So those are definitely suffering. As far as the food, like I said, I haven't done a big shop yet. I will do a big shop at the end of the month, and then it probably has increased a lot by then. But so far, not really. Price of gas, the propane gas for your cooking, that has dramatically increased. Here now is 1.7, and it used to be 1,050 before this, before the hike. Let's call it a hike, the price hike. So yes, people, the small people are suffering, most definitely. Like I said, cabbies, even people who have to ride to work, because apparently, according to my neighbour here, in this house here, who's a carpenter, the employers aren't giving them like a subsidy for their gasoline. So he stopped working. He's cutting wood, because he said, to get to Dipolog and back, he loses, I know it's not a lot of money, but he loses about 50 pesos a day. That's not a lot of money. It's less than $1, but to the salary that they get, it is quite a lot of money, people, really. Especially when you've got like a family of 4 to feed, which he has. Another thing that I've kind of observed is ticket prices for flights. They are definitely increased. But as to say, is it worth coming to the Philippines right now? If you're coming for a holiday, it doesn't really matter, because you've got like a pocket full of money anyway, and you might have to spend a couple of $100 more in the space that it depends how long you're here. It really, it depends how long you're here, but it's really affecting the Filipinas, or the Filipinos. But again, what I've seen as well, there are subsidies being given to the to the cabbie drivers, and that's a lampinig. That's like a kind of a Filipino wasp, and they are aggressive. And because I'm sweating, because I've been cleaning the car, they are attracted to the to the damp, to the wet. But he's been giving out subsidies to the drivers, to the jeepney drivers and all that sort of stuff. But how long that goes on for, I don't know. During my live, this morning, is a friend of mine who's in the live, and I know he won't mind me talking about it, but I won't mention his name, because he'll watch the video and he'll know who he is. Now, giving money to your Filipina for various things, or sending money for various things, I've always said, don't do it. If you've only just met this girl and she's starting to ask for money, look, the best thing to do is offload and move on. Seriously. Because it's the first signs. Is that, or some will even go as far as to say one of their relations is in hospital and they need the money for the fees. Now, generally speaking here, people, you can go to a public hospital if you are an indigenous person of the Philippines, you can go to a public hospital, especially here in Zanotti, if you're not with a foreigner, of course, and you will get a certain amount of that paid through PhilHealth. And you don't have to have that PhilHealth to go there. You can fill out the PhilHealth when you're in the hospital. It happened to my wife when she gave birth to Kaylin in Pinion Hospital here. She didn't have PhilHealth at the time, and I was expecting it to be, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pesos, especially me being a foreigner. But they were very good in there. They said, no, we'll just fill out your PhilHealth here, and it's free. So for this birth of Kaylin, which was 4.5 years ago, it was free. And it's the same as a lot of treatment. My friend who's a nurse, he doesn't live here now, he lives in Cebu, but he was telling me how it works. What it is, if you got PhilHealth, if you got a broken arm, it's treated, right? It's treated for free. But if there's complications like you need pins and things like that, and the doctors here supply the pins, you know, you lease the pins, people. You lease the pins. I know that for a fact because my neighbour, again, his wife had a motorcycle accident and she had to have pins in her wrist. And she rented the pins for 25,000 for however long they were in her arm for. And she wanted to keep the pins afterwards. Just to, you know, like as a memento, I suppose. But when she went to have them taken out, the doctor says, no, those are mine. You know, you only lease these pins. You know, you rent the pins for every time that they're in your body. But if it's a broken arm, broken leg, indigenous people will get that for free through PhilHealth. And like I said, in the public hospitals, if you go to a private hospital, I think that's out the window. So take no notice of that. Private hospitals charge what they want. Now, my wife, as you know, as I said in my live before, at the moment, and she's got about a month and a half to go before she will be ready to give birth. And we go for another scan in 2 weeks. She, at the moment, is a foot limb breach. Now, the OB-GYN that we have, she does treatment in a public hospital and in a private hospital. And she said the differences between the private and the public is the private, you get your own room, obviously, it goes without saying. You get, you know, it's better treatment. I don't mean treatment as in medication, but I mean treatment as in care by the nurses and things like that. And the cost, if you go, it's going to cost us money whichever way we look at it. It's going to cost us money if she has to have a C-section, and God willing and whatnot. I hope the baby turns around by that time. But some Filipinas, when they give birth with a C-section, if you're in a public hospital, especially in Zanotti here, some are free, even for a cesarean. But you have to be an indigenous Filipino. My wife is indigenous, but her surname is Smith. She's married to me, so that's not going to happen. We will have to pay, and it ranges from 80,000 to 140,000 pesos. So this is like a worry that I've got a little bit, is this, and if there's going to be no complications. But maybe I'm jumping the gun, maybe I'm stepping too forward. It's just the way that I am. I try and think of the worst case scenarios. I don't know why. I should be thinking of the best. But my wife is like happy-go-lucky, you know, and she keeps saying, because the unborn baby's name will be Zach Oliver Smith. So she keeps saying, come on, little Zachy, turn around, turn around, turn around. And I hope he does turn around. There is still time because there's still plenty of space. So, why I'm saying that for is, some Filipinos, when they get with a foreigner, especially if the foreigner hasn't been here and it's like an online dated, like a long distance relationship, if they're asking for money because of hospital things and all that, it's generally free for indigenous people in a public hospital. And generally speaking, many people where I live, they normally go to a place called Corazon, which is a private hospital, but the fees are very cheap in comparison to private clinics. So just think about that, people. If the Filipinos saying, I need money because of this, or my money because of that. And also you got to think that Zanotti is the biggest hospital in Zamboanga del Norte, and I think they've got a lot of tools. They've got a lot of equipment in that hospital, but again, they haven't got the equipment that they have in the places like Cebu and Manila and the major places, which is why I think many foreigners decide to live in them places, because healthcare is better, and there's no question about it, people. Even the local Filipinos here, when they get sick, they go straight to Cebu. They don't even mess around with the hospitals here. They go straight to Cebu if they have the money. So yeah, in regards to Filipina P, when she was saying about that, it's probably true in regions, but in this region I haven't seen a big increase in prices as yet, except obviously the pumps, which that goes without saying. It's the same the world over. And gas has actually gone through the roof, and we're due for a new gas bottle now, actually. So yeah, it's always money, always money. But these price increases could be regional as well, because I'm in the province of Zamboanga del Norte, which to me is a good province. It's got a good governor here. It's got a good mayor here who do a lot for the local people. Like the other week, there was something here called Walay Gutom, which means no hunger, and the local government units were coming down and selling rice at 20 pesos a kilo, and you could buy 10 kilos at a time. We didn't go down because, God almighty, imagine that. My wife going down, they said, "You're with a foreigner, why are you here?" We wouldn't have any intentions of going down. But so they do quite a lot of things here for the local people who are less fortunate than us. And I think they do a thing called Pantawade, which is you get money for your children if they are in education, and the money that they get, it depends on what grade they're in. So the government do give payouts to the poor people. There is another one called ACAP, which every so often the local people get 2,000 or 3,000 pesos. So and I don't know if it's like this all over the Philippines. I'm just saying in this particular province, the governor and the mayor, they do a lot for the local people. And there's another one I can't think what it's called. There's Pantawade, ACAP, and there's another one, can't remember. But and the local people here, they get pensions. The pensioners, the seniors, they get pensions here, even if they've worked or they haven't worked. Obviously, it's not a lot of money. I think it's around about 2,000 or 3,000 pesos a month. But still, it's better than a pork in the eye with a sharp stick, isn't it? Like I said, I don't know if this is all around the Philippines or not. I don't know. But I think when I do my next grocery shopping, because budget at the end of the month, at the end of the month I will go and do our monthly shopping, so to speak, and I will let you know, because I know how much we used to spend, roughly, give or take 1,000 either way, and I will let you know if there is a massive price increase here. But don't let it put you off. I mean, if you've got a holiday booked and you come into the Philippines, if it is a holiday, don't let that put you off. Just come and enjoy yourself. You might have to spend a little bit more of your budget with transportation and things like that. But don't let it put you off, for goodness sake. I think it's the people who live here that feel the pinch, especially the local people. So that's about it. I'd like to say thank you for joining me in my lives today. With the trouble that I had with the brownout, and I had to come out and start my generator, come back into the live, then the power come back on, so I'll come outside, disconnected the generator and went back on to the mains, and it just threw me out the lives 2 or 3 times. But I managed to get back in, and thank you for putting up with that. What else can we say? It's mainly about Filipina's P's video. But I think she makes some good content at times. It might not, everyone might not relate to what she's saying, but then not everyone can relate to anyone else's content that they're saying. But I think she's a good egg out, she is a good egg. And the thing I like about Filipina P is she puts a lot of effort into her videos. Me, I just do a video. I very rarely edit because it's just here and now. My videos, it's not planned as such, because I'm only a small-time YouTuber. I have got quite a few subscribers. I think almost 30,000 subscribers, which I do appreciate that, and thank you people who have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, it doesn't cost you anything. But yeah, I think that's about it. Look, I'm melting, people. Look, I'm not joking. I'm sat here. Remember I was saying yesterday about the air humidity? Well, that's what it does. And there's a bit of a wind around, and I'm not in the sun. I'm just sat in this little hammock here, talking to you lovely people, and sweating doing nothing. So after this, I'm going to go in the shower. I'm not going anywhere today, I don't think, because like I said, the place we was going to, nobody there. There's nobody there. So I'm just going to have a little lazy day, I think. Seriously, people, thank you for always dropping by and supporting the channel, and I mean that. And for the super thanks that I get, I really do appreciate that as well. The buy me a coffees and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it doesn't support the channel financially because YouTube channel doesn't cost you anything. It's just the appreciation that like you people give, and I really do appreciate it. I do, honestly. And I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my subscribers and all of my fan base that I have, because I get messages also in my emails as well. It's not just through the comments on here. And I think the trolls are getting less and less. I still get some. Of course I do. Of course I do. He comes with the territory, but you just got to rise above it. That's it, people. I will keep you posted as to the increase in food and things like that when I know myself. But as of yet, I haven't seen a big increase in food, so to speak. Listen, people, take good care. God bless you all. And I'm over and out. See you in my life tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. I'm still recording, Anna. Bye-bye. I'll try again. Over and out.